We're back in Module 4, and it's the end, believe it or not. This is Lesson 13 Review and TA Tip. So if there's any of these that you're going to want to skip, it is not this one. You have made it to your final video, and we're going to review what you should have learned and some TA tips for citation success. So what have we covered? We have covered case briefing, why we brief a case, components of a case brief, specifically seen in our Washington v. Varnes case, and an exercise in case briefing, and we read Lucy versus Zemmer and applied a case brief to Lucy. TA tip number 1, when you first start case briefing, use commercial briefs only to verify your understanding. Do not rely on them. Read the cases and learn how to brief yourself. You will miss important case points, and these may trip you up if it's your turn in class. Tabbing your blue book, another important task. Why we've gone over not only why tabbing is important, but explaining the general sections of the blue book and how to navigate that blue beast. TA tip number 2, you will want to tab your blue book and add tabs as needed. It's going to save you lots of time in your first year. Slide number 5, blue books and citations. We went over the quick reference, the cover pages, the blue book, the blue pages, the white pages, and the table pages. Tip number 3, you will use the blue pages this year, but keep those white pages handy for your 2 and 3L year. What are the legal citations we also went over? Specifically, the use of citations, placement, format of citation, and elements of a citation. TA tip number 4, you can use the citation creator in Westlaw or Lexis, but make sure you look over it for accuracy. We went over pin cites, specifically what is a pin cite, why we pin cite, how to pin cite, and full cites in the context of a pin cite. Short cite and unreported cases. I know that we have also referred to pin cites as pinpoints in these lessons, so those are interchangeable. TA tip number 5, don't forget the asterisk in unreported cases, a very important distinction. Short citations, we went over what is a short form citation, when you can use them, how and when to use id, what is an alternate short form, and how and when to use alternate short form. Tip for this lesson, make sure you don't forget a short form step. Usually you cannot skip right into id. String citations and spacing rules. We went over what is a string, when to use a string, how to string, order of a string citation, and we did some practice creating a string citation. TA tip for string citations, put the exact right spacing between elements of a citation. You can lose points for incorrect spacing, and your TAs are going to be hawks for spacing on your briefs and memos. Word has a function to document your spaces. Ask your TA to help you with this if you have not used it in the future. Or if you have not used this feature in the past, excuse me. Moving to statutes, we went over what is a statute, why the organization of the statutory code is the way it is, the location of statutes in the Blue Book, general rules for statute citation, federal statute citation. We did practice using federal citation statutes and short form for federal statute citation, and we did some state statute citations. TA tip for this, check the date on your statute citation. Remember that they are updated. Signals. We covered what signals are, what the different types are, and when to use them. TA tip number 9 is this is a big one. Don't worry about using signals too much this year, especially in Professor Austin's class. I don't think I used a single signal on either of my big writing assignments. But you will for law review potentially in your 2 and 3L years and in your summer jobs. Slide 12, quotations and sentence length we went over. We went over why it's important to properly quote cited materials, to give proper credit to the author or text. We want to avoid plagiarism, definitely. Rule 5 from the Blue Book on how to properly quote cited materials. We have block quotes. Specifically, they're used with 49 words or 50 words or more. We have specific rules for quotations of 49 words or less. Quotes within quotes, punctuations, when a letter must be changed from upper to lowercase, and empty brackets. TA tip number 10, you will use quotes this year. You can lose points for incorrectly quoting. Also pay close attention to sentence length. 25 or less words per sentence increases readability. Slide 13, we did footnotes in law review journals and academic writing that covered what are footnotes, why we use them, when they are used, and where to look in the Blue Book. Key differences between footnotes and in-text citations were also mentioned. Now, our TA tip on this lesson is that you're not going to use footnotes this year, but you will for a law review and in your 2L and 3L year, so definitely something to look forward to. Electronic sources, we went over what electronic sources are, when to use electronic citations, and specifically that difference between online and electronic sources, as this is a key distinction. Tip 12, you're not going to specifically use electronic sources this year, but you will for law review, your externships, and in your 2 and 3L year, so put a footnote in that. Congratulations, the citation module is over. Now take your final required quiz and get all your citations right in your written work.